Hello, Fearless Gamers, and welcome to another podcast here on Fearless Games. I'm Matt the Vet, and today I'm joined by...
the Stark Lord.
Welcome back.
Hello.
How's it going? You must be hurting after that savage beating you got yesterday.
So once again, we've proven that I cannot win while being filmed.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
I shall have to play you on camera more often.
I would like to point out that since no one knows what we're talking about, that the game beat me, not you.
I beat you. The game just made sure you remembered that.
I don't know. The game took out about half my force without you being involved at all.
I rolled it.
That's true.
Don't forget that.
So, what we were talking about is, of course, well, should we tell them? We can tell them.
I guess, because I don't know, the video should be up later tonight before this thing happens.
Oh, okay, so yeah, we were playing Zone Mortalis.
Yep. A very fun thing.
I definitely loved it. I love playing small games. 500 points, tight quarters, shooting the crap out of each other, good stuff. I got the first game. The vet won the second game, which of course was the recorded game.
Naturally.
Always how it goes. That's okay, it was fun,
Yep.
It was good. I did not get to use my sisters for it, unfortunately.
Yes, because you screwed up paying the bank.
I did. I screwed up my banking, so my pre-order got messed up. So I will be able to get the Sisters of Battle Codex in about 3 hours.
And it's a very 3 hours from recording, we're gonna mind you that.
Yeah, so.
It's very interesting. Apparently Saint Celestine kinda got a little nerfed.
They increased her points, and I think she only comes back from the dead once now.
She comes back from the dead once, but she comes back with full wounds.
Mm-hmm. And
her sword is now a Strength 5 AP 3, and it's still a flamer.
Yeah, it used to be Strength as hers, so Strength 3, but always wounds on 4s.
Yep.
So it's better, it's worse. I mean, now she can hit, like, tanks with it, because before it's like, why would you hit a tank with her? It's pointless. She needed a little bit of modification, because her rules in the other codex, the White Dwarf one, were really fantastically too good. She was like 105 points, 107 points, for a great stat line that couldn't die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And your favorite exorcist is now cheaper.
Yep, they made it.
And it's still pumbling out D6 Strength 8 AP 1s.
Yeah, they will never change the rules for that thing.
And it's interesting. It's the only, like, barrage weapon that isn't a barrage.
Yeah, because it's not really shooting a barrage, it's shooting single missiles, which would be a barrage, but it's not.
It's shooting single missiles, so it's one of the only tanks that fires up into the sky and doesn't hit the top floor of the building. Well, actually, that's a thing I've been noticing. People have been going, it only affects the top building. That's not true. It affects the floor in which the circle is over. No.
Yeah.
Barrage weapons are different. Blast weapons, you can target a floor. Barrage weapons is you can only hit the top floor. That's what everyone says. But when I reread the rules, unless they changed it in an FAQ that I wasn't aware of, it says it can affect the floor in which the blast template circle is touching. So if the center hole is touching the second floor and not the third floor, then it affects the second floor, not the third. But if it's touching the third floor, then it can only affect the third floor. It's supposed to represent, the shell hitting the floor that it hit, that the first floor to touch it.
I get it.
Which it makes sense. So technically it can hit another floor. It depends on the positioning of the hole. Again, this is assuming they haven't changed the rules since I last read my book.
Right.
With that. And also, we've got a new supplement coming up for the Space Marines. It's on pre-order. The Centuries of Terra, I believe it's called.
Not really happy about it.
You are not?
I'm not.
Explain.
Basically, what I thought they were going to
Sentinels of Terra. Sorry, Sentinels.
Well, what'd you say? Whatever.
Centuries.
Oh, yeah, no, it's totally Sentinels. Way to mess that up. Whatever.
Yeah.
I'm a little annoyed because it's like, the first Space Marine supplement, instead of it being like different chapters, which is what I thought they would do, which everyone I think thought they would do, it's like companies, and it feels too specific. And it's like, does that mean they're going to release like 10 different supplements over time for like the Iron Hands and whatever?
As long as everybody buys it, yes.
Because I'm not really keen on that. I would rather like just a supplement, and also it's like it's two different companies from two different armies.
Yeah, it was a little weird that it was like two separate factions.
Yeah, I would have much preferred like just a chapter Iron Hands, chapter Imperial Fist, chapter Crimson Fist. They can just do chapters forever. There's at least 20 canon chapters, right?
Yeah, something like that.
And there's all the
I think it's
original
19, and the 20th one is missing because the Primarchs doesn't know. The Primarch went missing, and that's supposed to be your created chapter.
No, there's 18, but 9 went evil. I mean, like of like current chapters, not the legions. Like there's the 9 loyal legions that became chapters, and then all the known successors that have been named in the books like 100 times over. Like there's plenty of stuff to write about. And I don't think they need to go all the way down to company level. I think a little too much.
This is weird. They have 2 versions of the book, and I can't tell which one is for which, because one says available for iPod with iBooks, or on your computer with iTunes, but then I go to the other one, and it says books available for download on your iPhone, iPod, iPad, Touch, and iBooks, and on your computer with iTunes, books must be read on an iOS device.
Yeah.
So what's the difference? It's basically the same book.
No, the one that says it has to be read on an iOS device has to be on a Mac device.
But so does the other one.
No, the other one you should be able to pull up using your iTunes on your computer, I think. Like, one's an ebook, and one's one of their spiffy books, and I bet you there's about a $6 difference between the two.
Let's see. There is no listing.
Oh, well, with the Sisters book, there was an ebook, and then the fancy book. The fancy book was $39, I think, and the ebook was $36.
Which one did you? Yeah.
I'm going to get the expensive one, because it's the enhanced editions, which this is the first one I'm going to get, should have instant updating and all sorts of nice, snazzy things. I don't think they do that on the ebook version.
No, they do not. And sometimes, which I'm sad, like, for that price, I was expecting to have the Army Builder app in there.
I know.
They basically, from my understanding, they took the White Dwarf supplement, the Codex, tweaked minor things in each thing, but basically kept everything the same, threw in a two things that were new, and they charged that much. They should have given you...
What do you think is new?
What did they think? The Warlord traits?
Okay, yeah, those are new.
The Apocalypse formations?
Okay.
The 3 Altars of War missions?
Okay, fine, that's all new. I was about to say, if someone calls the War Gears new, which I know you didn't before, but people were doing that online, I'd flip out. Yeah. The Condemner bolt gun is not new.
For anyone who doesn't know, the Condemner bolt gun is a combi bolter that has a 24-inch range that makes its victims suffer perils of the warp automatically.
Yeah, it's also in the Grey Knights Codex. Only one guy can take it, but it's in there.
I think it's primarily because it's something awesome that the Grey Knights don't have and the Sisters get.
Well, technically, the Inquisitor Hereticus in the Grey Knight book can take it, but that's just one guy on the whole army. It's always kind of been in the Sisters books, though I think in the old Witch Hunter Codex, it just, like, wounded Psychers on a 2+ or something, I forget.
Something like
it's been getting better, but people just have been ignoring it because Psychers weren't a big deal until, 6th edition Psychers are big deals, apparently, because everyone's taking them. They're everywhere. They're in my raccoon wounds.
I think it's because now there's more options. It's no longer, if you want psychic options, play Eldar. It's now, if you want psychic options, pick the category of psychic powers you want from your list. What are we now, an episode of Gumble to Gumble?
Yes. That was me,
What's with this guy?
Okay, I'll talk. No, I was chewing, sorry.
What are you chewing? A piece of leather?
Yes.
That's very good for your teeth, I hear.
Really?
I don't know, I'm just making crap up to see if you'll do it.
Never heard of that.
I was just hoping I'd get you to do something.
That'd be a new one. Anyways, but, What the heck are we talking about? Right.
Sisters Codex.
Sisters Codex, I mean, they just, the Condemner bolt guns, just, Psychers are really big now, and it's a good anti-Psyker weapon. I mean, all your characters, I think, can get one. It's cool. I saw someone online complain that the Sisters didn't have Eviscerators anymore, but they didn't get them in the GW, the White Dwarf version anyways.
I think they were expecting them to come back.
It would have been nice, but I actually got used to running without them already. Like when I was running with the White Dwarf Codex, I switched to just having combi weapons on my Sister Superiors. So I was like, okay. Or Power Mauls. Like the Power Maul is your strength enhancer that you can still take.
Nope.
It's not a bad thing. I guess you could take a Power Axe, but I know they bash into one with a Power Maul, and Power Maul's decent. And Sisters, taking away the Eviscerator just reminds you that, yes, close combat is a stupid idea. I mean, yeah, I've totally gotten some great kills with my Eviscerator in close combat, but that was, like, stupid idea to do to begin with.
Well, close combat is almost, like, dead in 6th edition, I feel. Like, no one ever wants to go into close combat.
I wanted to go into close combat in that game of Zone Mortalis.
Yes, you did, and it was horribly so.
And I did okay here and there. Like, it's so tough to get in there because people get, shots back, which is fair.
Yeah.
But I don't think Assault is dead. I mean, it's hurt. It's not the win button it used to be, which is fair. I mean, it's the future. People have guns. Just like in modern days, Assault is not the win button. Running at a guy with a knife when he's got a gun, probably not going to work out for you. I mean, maybe you'll get lucky and he shoots your friend instead and you get to stab him in the face, but that's not a definite go-to.
Yeah.
So I think it's good that they limited Assault a little bit. I mean, it's still effective. It's still a good way to target enemies. It's still a good way to slow guys down, and it's free movement.
And in Zone Mortalis, let's see, you get that whole reaction fire thing.
Oh, reaction fire makes it so much worse.
Yeah, thankfully, it's not on every weapon. It's only like pistols, assaults, and rapid-fire weapons.
Well, yeah. Basically, reaction fire is just you take, an initiative test?
You roll an initiative test, and if you pass, you get to shoot at your ballistic skill.
Yeah, instead of snap firing at assault, you get to shoot at ballistic skill, so that really hurts.
Yeah.
I will say, though, quick thing, for someone that plays Zone Mortalis, assassins are ridiculous.
Yeah, they're pretty nasty.
The Evisor just, he was so good. The Vindicar didn't do a huge amount, but he made his own in the second game.
Well, the first game, your Exer, whatever.
Evisor, he
the Evisor. Yeah. He one-shotted a Venerable Dreadnought.
Turn 1, yep. In close combat.
Then the Vindicator just kept having to move, so he couldn't use his super awesome gun of awesomeness.
He got, 1 or 2 shots off, and I don't think... Did he even hit anybody? I always have this problem with my Vindicars.
He hit,
never
but he can't wound.
No matter what I do, whenever I choose to use, I just got the name of the round, the one that wounds on 2s, that whole round, I think, I always roll a 1. Every time.
Yep.
And it's like, seriously?
Yep, he always does. The second game, the Vindicator did fared, I think, a little better because it was holding off that Dreadnought for quite a bit.
He did 2 rounds against the Dreadnought, just holding it down, doing a whole point, keeping it from firing its plasma cannon. And the Evisor was going to destroy you, but then that quake happened.
Yeah.
And both assassins died. The 2 guys with best initiative in the game both rolled 6s.
Yeah.
Although it was a strength test anyways, doesn't matter. It was just still really? Thanks, game.
Yeah. Which, that I have to look into because you brought up an interesting thing, what if you have higher, what if it's one of those rolls where it's impossible to fail? Is it one of those things where a 6 always fails?
I think so.
But it was quite ridiculous how they just all dropped like flies because the ground shook.
It was like a bad episode of Star Trek.
Bad episode of Star Trek, indeed.
Yeah.
New things, Batman Arkham Origins comes out this Friday.
Yay, I guess.
It looks interesting. I definitely am interested. I'm planning on picking that up. It's on a Friday, so it's on payday. So yay, I can just buy it with a paycheck.
That's good.
I bought the one model I was missing to get my Signar army up to compatible competitor level.
Cool.
Yep. And I tried Army Primer for the first time.
How'd that go?
It works pretty good. I like it a lot. It's a little dusty, and when I mean dusty, like it really like looks like you're just shooting dust everywhere.
Okay, but it still finishes
not
nicely?
like your paint. Oh, it still finishes nicely, but it just looks like you're just shooting dust. And you're like, am I covering anything? I am, because the model's changing color, but it doesn't look like I am.
And quick hobby tip of the day, when using spray stuff, do not do it in high humidity.
Yes.
So,
this is the best time. Spring and fall is the best time to go outside.
well, at least for us, because we live in New York.
Yes.
If you live somewhere else, I can't help you. I have no idea what you do in Florida. I assume you just don't paint models in Florida.
No, they do. They just don't use spray paint.
Fair enough. Yeah, you want low humidity, so nice, cool day when it hasn't rained in a while. Perfect.
Mm-hmm. And a little. You don't want it to be too high a temp, because that can affect it. You don't want it to be too hot. You don't want it to be too cold.
Again, like you said, spring and fall is where you want it. Fall day where it hasn't rained the day before or that day should be pretty solid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Indubitably.
Yep, indubitably.
We got the new Thor movie coming out.
Yeah, I'm excited. I am and I'm not, actually. I mean, I want it to come out. Because something needs to, my father brought this up to my attention, that Gravity is #1 at the box office. And I can't figure out why.
Because you watch Sandra Bullock go, I'm stuck in space!
I just, if a Fearless Gamer's seen this movie, you have to tell me what this movie's about, because all I see in the trailer is like, okay, two people stuck in space, they're dead. That's my initial reaction. The space shuttle they're on, gone. Space station, gone. They're dead. That's the end of the movie, right?
Apparently no, it's not. That's actually the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like, how do you finish a movie if there's nothing else to get them? They're dead in 2 hours, max, right?
Roughly, this is roughly, because I did watch a review of this.
Okay.
And I did talk to someone who actually saw the movie.
Good, because I would like to hear someone's opinion before I see it.
It's a, okay, warning, there may be spoilers. I'm not going to go into the whole thing, but I'm going to, build part of it. So there's going to be, mild mid-film spoilers.
Yeah, but it's for a movie that we're probably not going to watch anyways, Fearless Gamers.
And it's a movie that we haven't really seen, so I could be wrong on half of this stuff. So they're hanging out in space they're on a spaceship working on a satellite thing, or they're on the International Space Station. That part I'm not entirely clear
Whatever,
on.
they're on something in space.
And there's a meteor shower coming.
Right, we get that.
And NASA's going, okay, it's probably not going to hit you, don't worry, it's going to miss you completely. And then they go, actually it just hit a piece of debris, it got a little closer to you, but it still should miss you. Okay, that piece of debris just hit another piece of debris, that's going to hit you, get out of there. Debris goes, shuttle explodes, International Space Station blows up, Sandra Bullock goes out into space. Ah! Apparently, they somehow managed to survive the shower.
Yeah.
And there's another space station, the Chinese space station or something like that. And she has to find a way to get to it and hope that it is still working so she can get back home in some way, shape, or form.
Shenanigans. I'm calling shenanigans.
That is what I read is what this film is about.
I mean, that's a better plot than I really didn't know what to expect. I assumed it was going to be like that movie.
To be honest, when I saw the trailer, when I saw the trailer, I was like, so we just saw the last 5 minutes of the film because they didn't live through that.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I know that's the beginning, but where do you go from there? If you're floating in space by yourself, you're on I don't know, the life support tank.
No, she's got another dude.
I know,
with her.
but the two of them are in enclosed suits. It's like you got 2-3 hours of air, probably max. They can't get a ship up there that fast. You're dead. You're dead.
Supposedly, now I don't know how this true is because I read this once in one of these college humor things, and but one guy at the that I talked to who saw it says the scene never happens, but apparently he drinks one of the characters drinks a can of Coke soda in space.
Maybe, well, in the
no
ship.
straw, no, like literally can of soda in a vacuum, tilts his head back and drinks.
I'm sure that's not true.
And I'm just like, no. Oh, and apparently this is bad. Apparently, in Sandra Bullock's visor, you can actually see the boom mic operator who's not wearing a spacesuit.
Oh, that again. I refuse to believe they would make that kind of mistake.
Well, apparently it's something where it's not like glare. It's not like The Shining where you literally saw the boom mic in the reflection of the glass in the market.
Yeah.
Not the Kubrick one, the TV show one. Like,
right.
She is distorted, but if you look at it just right, you can tell it's the boom mic operator.
That's kind of funny.
And you're like, wait a minute, so there's a dude standing right in front of her, and he's not in a suit.
It's okay. He's got a boom mic.
Boom mic will protect him.
Yes. I don't know if you know that from watching documentary guys, but the boom mic guy is invincible. Right?
I'm sorry, but I've worked with a boom mic. It is kind of not the best thing.
I know.
No, it is not that good. I would not rely on the boom mic.
Well, whatever to you.
Never.
Ever?
Never.
What are you, Luke Skywalker? Saying never to things?
Never. I'll never turn to the dark side.
And then he yells some stuff, and then he hits it with a lightsaber, and I just threw in the end of the
Your
movie.
Highness. I am the Jedi, like my father before me.
Then you shall die.
Father, please! Ah! No! No!
Panda bear.
Actually, this is funny. I was watching, I think it was FX, and they were playing the Blu-ray release of Star Wars. I could tell it was the Blu-ray release because there were scenes that were slightly different, and the screen was in HD, so it was broadcasting in HD.
Right.
Well, that could still be, you could probably do that with a standard def, but I don't know, because that end of film I'm not all too that good with. And they play the Blu-ray version except for that one scene. That scene, they use a previous version so they don't have the no in there.
Yeah, well, the no was dumb, so...
It was a very bad scene. It kills the whole sacrifice and impact that scene has.
What? Yeah.
Where him just being silent, he sounds more like a child, like, this is bad. This is bad! Like a kid discovering that it was bad touch, good touch.
Yeah, no. Some scenes are just better without any voicing.
Yep. And I do not like the new voice sound for the Great Dragon.
Oh, I didn't know they changed it.
Yep, it sounds like one person, and I kind of agree, that best described it as some dude trying to impersonate a dying walrus.
Okay, totally know what that sounds like. Got it.
That's what it is now.
It's kind of funny.
And you're just like, that's not intimidating.
Oh. Well, surprisingly, walruses aren't as intimidating as they should be in theory. Those things don't mess with them, but at the same time, you look at it like, oh, you're just a dumb walrus. And then it kills you, but even then, you're still not intimidated. You're just a cute little ball of blubber. Well, it's not little, but yeah. It's little. It's tiny. Uh-huh. But yeah, and so looking at the Comic-Con guest list, it looks like you and me missed a nerd orgy of awesome. I know. I'm not that upset, though. Oh, I am very upset, because I had, like, a million things I could have gotten signed. For those who didn't follow, this is very upsetting for me. Anthony Daniels was there. He was C-3PO in Star Wars, which ticks me off because he doesn't do Star Wars signings anymore. And I could have added him to my VHS collection on my New Hope VHS, which was upsetting. Patrick Stewart was there, as well as William Shatner. Yeah. So, like, you Star Trek fans could finally get your Battle of the Captains. Picard.
Kirk, man. He was the better fighter because he fought.
He fought like an idiot with, like, judo chops and front rolls. Picard punched things. Punched things good.
Yeah. And still got captured all the time.
Only a couple of times, and he beat the lights. There were 4. Or 3, or however there were supposed to be.
There's 4 lights, and
4
he
lights.
was supposed to say 3.
Right. 4 lights.
I always almost laugh when he says the last time when he screams, "There are 4 lights!" I'm like, that sounds so pathetic.
I mean, it's really good when you're really into the show. But if you take that out of context, that is hilarious.
They're just like, it's not even like, it's supposed to sound very triumphant, and it just sounds like a dude who's like, it just sounded like it was the 20th take and he just wanted it done.
That might have been
It doesn't
true.
sound like a triumphant battle cry,
Yeah.
which I think is what they were going for. But either way, Sylvester Stallone was there. Missed a chance for him to write "I Am the Law" on my Blu-ray.
Yeah, I know.
Of Dread. That was upsetting.
Yeah.
Sigourney Weaver
She was there? I didn't know that.
Yes, she was there. I was like, oh, aliens.
I'm a big fan of
Hi.
Sigourney Weaver. She's a good actress.
She's great.
She's good in everything.
Cabin in the Woods was
I did
amazing.
see Cabin in the Woods.
Watch Cabin in the Woods. It's on Netflix.
I know. I'll get around to it.
It's a good movie. She was the only watchable part of The Village.
I liked The Village. I know, sue me, whatever. But yeah, she was great in The Village. The Village, you just take away any preconceptions about anything scary. Just assume it's a set piece, like a time period piece, obviously not with a period thing, and just enjoy the love story. That's what the damn movie's supposed to be about. Sorry, I think I just
The
cursed.
problem it was just I was looking so forward to. It was like Contact. You look so forward to seeing the alien, and then you find out what it actually is.
You know, that's a good point, because I hate on Contact for that crap. That's true. Contact, I was 13 or whatever, and I watched that whole movie, and the alien, spoiler, was her dad. Go to hell.
Yeah.
You couldn't give me, like, something with some tentacles just for 5 seconds? That's all I wanted.
Oh, when that came up to that point, I was like, is that the alien? Like, what is that?
Yeah, like, I didn't know what happened. I was really confused at first. I mean, I got it, but I was like, wait, what? No, what?
Like,
no aliens? Not at all?
The concept of the time that it took for the whole experience to happen was cool, but the alien part was very disappointing.
Basically, that movie was actually decent, except for the alien. Like, you got people sitting there for an hour and a half, or however long that movie is, and
really wanting to see the ending, to see what these dudes look like.
It's like, you know, the whole thing with Jaws and Steven Spielberg, and at the end he blows up the shark, obviously, again, sorry for all these random spoilers to ancient movies, but, like, people were asking when he was directing, it's like, are you sure you can blow up the shark? That's really unrealistic. And he said, so like whoever says from like the producers or whatever, like, I've had these people sitting here for 2 hours watching this movie. I'm blowing up this damn shark.
What's great about that is it's better than the ending to the book.
I know. Well, in the book, like, Brody's wife has an affair with Richard Dreyfuss's character, and like then that guy kind of has to die. You know?
It's not even that. It's just the fact that the shark just swims away.
Yeah. Like,
you're just like,
the book has,
what?
The book is like any decent book, and everything is sad about it. When it comes to like books can go either way. Plays are usually sad, and then the movie version's always happy. It's like even Streetcar Named Desire. The play, depressing. I think the movie had a happy ending somehow. Well, if that one didn't, then A Breakfast at Tiffany's, I know it has a happy ending, unlike the play.
Yeah. And also, going off of after that random tangent there, with that, there was Cookie Monster was there. I would have loved to have met Cookie Monster. Because, like, he was the reason I ate so many chocolate chip cookies when I was a kid.
Oh, so he's the reason you're obese.
Oh yeah, I'm really bad. But I would have loved to have met him. I met Big Bird one year, and that was like mind-blowing for me.
I can imagine.
And I got to shake his hand. He was awesome. And the one one that I would have, like murdered a man. Like, that level of Klondike Bar level of favors I would do to meet this person. Sergeant Slaughter.
I'm going to be honest, I didn't know he was still alive. I'm really glad he is, but I didn't know.
I didn't know he was an actual drill sergeant.
I didn't know that either.
So if I read his biography correctly on the page, he was a legit drill sergeant before he became a wrestler.
I can believe it.
For the younger audience who didn't grow up with, Sergeant Slaughter was a wrestler on the WWF, and he was awesome. He had a green muscle shirt on, green fatigues, and the Boy Scout hat, as I like to call it.
Sergeant's hat, you terrible person.
I know, but
with the sunglasses and a mustache.
Yep, and he had this really gravelly voice.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why, but everyone always associated him with G.I. Joe.
Well,
so eventually, Hasbro finally recognized him as a G.I. Joe and made him an actual G.I. Joe character in the four-parter where Serpentor comes into play.
Yeah, then he's in the movie, and he's great. He beats the crud out of Lieutenant Falcon, or whatever his name is.
No, he beats out of Nemesis Enforcer.
Yeah, well, he trains... Oh,
he trains Flint.
He beats the crap out of Nemesis Enforcer. He's like, this is for whoever, this is for whoever, and this is for me.
For me. And it's all his classic wrestling moves that he's doing to him.
No, it was a good, it was good stuff.
Oh, I was like, what? No! I was so ticked. G.I. Joe, the DVD was in my hand, and I'm like, I want to be beside, because he's prominently on the cover. He's the dude running at you in the front of it with Duke.
Well, yeah, he's Sergeant
Slaughter, the best G.I. Joe of them all, the one who is the textbook Joe.
Yeah.
The one that Cobra decided would replace the DNA of Alexander the Great to form Serpentor.
Yeah, that's how awesome he was.
He was the man. And you know what's interesting, speaking about the G.I. Joe movie? Do you know why Duke lives in that film?
Because Optimus Prime died.
Yes, and the reaction to Optimus Prime's death was so dramatic that they weren't expecting it to be that way, that they went, well, crap, we can't kill Duke off now, so then they changed the line to, he's now in a coma, and then hey, Duke's out of his coma! So, like, he was originally supposed to be dead by the end of that film. Mm-hmm. Hasbro was big on killing off characters that year.
Yeah. Well, you kill off characters to make room for new characters.
But they didn't. Like, G.I. Joe didn't get any new characters.
Yeah, they just changed the line eventually and gave them new gear, which was kind of cool when I was a kid. I remember all the cool crap they did.
All the G.I. Joe stuff. I remember the General, that giant vehicle.
Yeah.
That had the cannon in the center, the helicopter pad, all the missiles and the guns and the sound effects and lights. Needed 4 people to pilot it. It was huge. It was like a 2.5 feet wide. It was great. If you watch the movie Big, when he's in FAO Schwartz, it's in a display case.
I believe it.
Those were the days.
Anyways, I want to talk about models, if you don't mind, because I just saw something cool.
How dare you?
I know, I'm totally taking us away from G.I. Joe.
How dare you talk about hobby stuff on this hobby channel?
I know. Well, because you're just going to make me feel more bad about missing, Comic-Con, and, I missed it on purpose, so, I'm not going next year. I said that at the end of the last, I'm not going to go to the next one. I think I'm going to skip a year. And that's this year was pretty killer, and I feel kind of bad.
Hopefully, since I believe Matt has some video coverage of the con, at least he said he was going to. We'll have to check up on that. Hopefully we can maybe get some press passes next year.
Yeah, 1 or 2.
Or 3, or 4, or 7.
7 would be nice.
Yes, because we have 7 people in our crew.
We do.
We do? Yeah. Yes, there's not just the 4 of us. We have other people in the background.
Yeah, but only, 1 of them count.
6, technically. There's 6 of us, technically.
Yeah, okay, and there's a half a person or 2. There's a couple of half people.
We cut people in half.
Yeah, but most of them don't need their legs. It saves on...
They just need their arms to work.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, and just so you know, before we randomly change, we hit 100 likes on Fearless Games, the Facebook page.
Yay,
so awesome, thank you all.
Thank you for liking our Facebook. I know I haven't liked it yet, but that's because I don't use Facebook.
And what's interesting with it is the Sisters of Battle one was reached 90% more people than most of our posts in the last month.
Well, people want to know about the Sisters of Battle. And
69 people saw it.
Yeah.
That's nearly double our average.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to be doing a review of the book probably tomorrow or Thursday with what little free time I have, because as soon as I get a copy of it, I'm reviewing it.
Good.
And it'll go up, because it's Sisters of Battle. Let's do this. But anyways, I'd like to bring up some hobby stuff besides that.
Go right ahead.
So, first off, Dystopian Legion's cool.
Yes.
I now have some...
Yes, I hope you enjoy your birthday gift.
I do. I got some nice models. I looked them over. Their medals are decent. Their scale is it looks like 24 or 30 millimeter scale, non-heroic, so in like traditional. So like, the guys are like bigger than Space Marines, like your standard troopers, which I like.
Okay.
It makes it a little bit easier to paint. It's kind of like the old metal toy soldiers from like the 1910s.
Okay.
So they're like that size, if you know what I'm talking about. Anyways, so nice quality. Of course, the resin stuff is beautiful. But I ran into, and I didn't realize that Spartan was doing this, but since they were doing all this stuff with Dystopian Legions, and they're setting up their stuff for all their new groups coming out, coming this next year in 2014, they're doing Planetfall.
Oh, yes, I heard about Planetfall.
Yeah, which is them basically doing their Dystopian Legions for Firestorm Armada.
Which is interesting because there's a game called Planetfall.
Yeah.
And I would have thought they would have had issues with that.
I guess not, because video game IPs and all that don't go over each other.
I guess there's enough differences in it where the name isn't too big of an issue.
But I think it's cool because it's another sci-fi game and it looks like a nice... It kind of looks like a Halo-style sci-fi to give it a generic idea for people. I remember when Firestorm Armada came out, it was actually before we started playing Battlefleet Gothic.
Yeah.
And it was a real serious thing to question. It's like, well, this game is supposed to be better than Battlefleet Gothic, but we didn't like any of the models, so we never got into it.
Yeah. And it was like the models left nothing to the imagination.
Yeah, like I couldn't really dig into their ships. I'm like, yeah, that's a good design. Like none of the designs were bad. I didn't dig any of them, you know.
Yeah, there wasn't like a oh my, I must own this.
Yeah, but now they're doing like tiny men, so maybe it'll be cool.
Tiny men.
Well, that and giant arachnid monsters apparently, because that's what one of the species are. They're technologically advanced spider people.
Yep.
It looks exciting. But it's cool, so it's no sci-fi game to contend with 40K and Infinity, and are there any sci-fi games past those two? I hope not.
Not that I can think of.
There's the stuff, what's it called, Mantic makes or whatever, with yeah, but I don't...
Which I hear is supposed to be really brutal.
It looked alright.
Because, like, from it, like, you invest in these models, so when they die, they're, like, gone. That's, like, money wasted, and then you have to gain more money to get those dudes back.
Yeah.
And so you're like, I just spent $100 on this, well, like, in-game money, $100 on this dude to give him a really awesome gun. He's dead. I'm now down $100.
Yeah, that's like... Yeah, like Infinity's just nice like that. Also.
And what else?
That was about it. I saw these cool models. I'm like, yeah, this looks pretty good that there's another sci-fi game coming out. Because there's not enough sci-fi rolling around. I mean, there's more and more happening in it, but there's not, like, enough infantry games with science fiction. I mean, I think Infinity does it the nicest, where it's kind of based on modern-style warfare, where it's just small, groups fighting each other in, like, tight scenarios. Which makes sense, and I like that, and I look forward to playing that sometime soon. I have almost an entire collection of the Japanese sectoral army for that, of course, because they look awesome. None of it's painted, but they look awesome.
Well, of course.
Yeah, I just have to get a couple of their motorcycle guys, and maybe a couple of other things for hacking, and I'll have, like, an entire collection of them, and I'll start working on something else. But, like, the game has pretty solid rules, and I like how it's, a small... like 6 to 10 people versus like special ops teams, which again relates very much to like a lot of how Modern Warfare is supposed to work, and I like how that happens in that. But it's nice to see another game come out, and Planetfall is going to be more like, I guess more like 40K, where it's larger armies, hitting the ground and shooting at each other.
Yeah.
But not being grimdark, which is nice.
The one thing that really made me interested in Dystopian Legions is the Crocodile.
The Crocodile's pretty good. What made me interested in Dystopian Legions is that they're making their tanks, and they look awesome.
Yeah, because they have those tanks in Dystopian Wars.
Mm-hmm. But they're like tiny models. They're just little tokens. Yeah. And just seeing some of their designs, and I look forward to... I don't know how we'll ever get to see one in person, but the Prussians have like a robot that's like, 30 feet tall, so it's a small Titan. They have like Warhound Titans, and they're going to make them for the game.
That's crazy.
As do the Americans. They have like the John Henry, which is like a flying robot, which I'm sure...
John Henry Iron.
Yeah, which I'm sure they will make into a model also. It's cool to see nice, steampunky, giant, ridiculous robots and tanks, and then like cool looking infantry.
Yeah. Yeah, oh, definitely.
Yeah, and they're starting to roll out stuff for other things, like the Covenant of Antarctica has a couple of example things on the gallery right now, which is exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they have, like, this, I think it's on their Facebook, it's like a ball with legs, like Fairy Jules Verne robot. That should be cool.
Yeah. In the War Machine news, the Reductors from the Convergence are out now.
Yeah, and they look cool. Again,
they look pretty interesting.
Everything Convergence looks cool to me.
They've got like a gun on their one arm and then a blade on the other. They're very Grey Knight-ish.
Yeah.
And I like the intricacy. I like how they're really showing like the gears and the knobs in them to make it so they, like, when you look at the model, you go, this is a Clockwork robot.
Yeah. Like they are.
That's one thing. Yeah, that's one thing I give War Machine a lot of credit for. Is like you look at the things and you can kind of believe that these things work the way they're supposed to.
Yeah, I can go with you on that. Their aesthetic and their choices in it seem logical. It's like, yeah, fantasy world, but they explain the fantasy enough and show it enough with the model and the artwork that it's believable in a weak way. I know what you mean.
Yeah, I really like, that's what I like about, like, you see all the pistons, you see all the gears, things look like they should. And I just like how only one army has electricity, because electricity is something new to them.
Yeah.
And it's still not reliable.
Nope. But when it hits, oh man.
Oh yeah. Electricity, man. It hurts.
It does.
Because it's electric. Boogie woogie woogie woogie.
Oh man, I was gonna say that if you didn't.
I beat you to it.
That's probably for the best. I didn't want to be associated with that song.
Good. Here's a question. Have you watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. at all?
I don't have the time. I really don't.
I haven't seen it, but I've been wanting to hear somebody who's seen it, because I haven't. Any of you fearless out there have seen it, drop a comment. Let us know what it's like. What do you think about it?
The clown's seen it. He likes it.
Yes.
My brother's seen it and was texting me about it, so he likes it. And it's like, shut up, I don't have time to watch it right now. Stop telling me stuff.
And speaking of that, someone told me there's this great video. There's, the guy that does, the guy who plays Loki.
Yeah, whatever his name is, cool actor.
He does he goes, this is my summary of Thor 2. He gets a Dark Elf model, and he gets a Thor model, and he goes, I'm evil. He's like, I'm gonna stop you. Manly stuff, more manly stuff, more manly stuff. And he puts the Dark Elf model away, and he pulls out a Loki model, and Thor goes, I hate you. And Loki goes, I hate you too. I need your help. I hate you. Okay. And they go off, he puts them in both hands, and he holds out the Dark Elf model again, and he goes, more manly stuff! And then they knock the Dark Elf down, and he goes, there you go, Thor 2.
That sounds about right.
I'm hoping that's basically what it is.
The coolest thing... Sorry, continue.
Because if it isn't, then he lied.
No, it is. What got me excited for Thor 2 on any level is I watched the San Diego Comic-Con footage from the Thor panel there.
I didn't get to see that.
It's just good because Loki opens up the panel.
Is that the one where he does the whole, where are your Avengers now, I have my army?
Yeah, pretty much. Like, he does the whole bit as Loki, and it's great. And it's great to see that done live. And he's the character. Like, he's doing it perfectly. Like, that's a good actor. Like, he's totally... I thought they could do it in a movie, but doing, like, live acting and doing it well is a different thing, because you can't, you have to be able to play the lines and be able to ad-lib a little better.
And apparently he's also, like, really awesome. Like, apparently during a shoot, there was, like, a little boy during Avengers, and they were watching, and the little boy was, like, apparently really excited to see Loki and such, so he called the boy over and put him on his shoulders and have his parents take a picture of him on his shoulders.
That's awesome. It's like there's a
While he was still dressed as Loki.
There's a good, there's a good picture on Imgur where some kids say on, like, some studio set, and it's, like, either Jet Li or, I think it's Jet Li, it's gonna be really bad, I don't remember, like, pretending to break his neck, and it's, like, just a thing, like, that's Jet Li pretending to break my neck. And, like, the kid's, like, 9, he looks so happy.
You heard what, Ron Perlman did once.
What hasn't Ron Perlman done? That guy is great.
There's this kid who was huge into Hellboy. And he got approved to make a wish on the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and his wish was to become Hellboy. So they're like, okay, they rigged, to go to a studio that could do, makeup and hair and all this stuff, but Ron Perlman found out about this. So Ron Perlman walks into the boy's hospital room dressed as Hellboy in the whole outfit.
That's fantastic.
Hangs out with him, goes to the studio with him to get his face painted and put the little horns on, does a photo shoot with the kid, and then orders the whole family a Hellboy-sized lunch. And I'm like, Ron Perlman, you're awesome for going through the 9 hours of prep time just because of this boy's wish.
9 hours of prep time and the semi-paralysis, because, like, he can't use his right hand really with that monstrosity on it. Not well.
Yeah. And the fact that he did that was like, I love it. I love hearing stories like that.
Yeah.
Like, that was one thing where I really appreciated Christian Bale going to all the victims of that theater shooting, and visiting all of them. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
And speaking of Ron Perlman, Pacific Rim came out on Blu-ray, DVD.
I gotta get that at some point. I know I had my issues when I saw it, but that's because I was expecting too much out of it. And it is just a good punch-a-thon. It's a good movie. It gives you what it promises, I think, is what's really good giant
about
robots
it.
punching giant monsters.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
And this is just a random tangent. I was watching random videos on the interwebs, and that whole everything wrong with insert movie here in the insert this amount of time.
Yeah.
Well, apparently there's another trailer video. There's another group that does something similar, called Everything Wrong with This Trailer. And they're doing Pacific Rim, and the first line in the thing is the first kaiju attack was in San Francisco. He pauses the film and goes, okay, kaiju is Japanese word for giant monster. Not most American audiences are going to recognize this, so now you're using a terminology that I need to look up for me to understand. 1 point against. To which I had to say, when the dude says kaiju, and you see the giant frickin' monster eating the Golden Gate Bridge...
You know what kaiju means.
Do you really need the definition of kaiju to understand what's going on?
It's called a context clue, using the context in which the word is used to understand its definition. If you cannot do that, then I don't know how you pass second grade English. Okay, maybe fifth grade.
I'm just like, what?
Yeah.
I watch a bunch of Godzilla films. I never knew that they were called kaiju movies, and even I knew what they were talking about.
Yeah, like
even Elena, who doesn't watch a lot of those foreign films, understood what he was talking about when he said the kaiju attack.
Yeah, because it's like, oh, kaiju means giant monster that eats face. Clearly, because they said kaiju attack and then showed you giant monster that eats face.
And then they pointed out the other two attacks, and he goes, okay, this monster first went here, then here. It traveled quite a bit that's quite a travel distance just to attack 3 cities. And I was like, okay, you're an idiot, because if you watch the video, it's a different monster in every single shot. Clearly it's not the same monster running from these cities. And at that point I stopped watching the video because the guys' fails were just ticking me off, because they were rudimentary. They were easy to follow and easy to understand.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes if you're gonna make fun of something, especially if you're gonna bash it, you should have your stuff somewhat correct.
Yes, you better have a good and strong case against it.
Like, there's nothing terribly wrong with the trailer for that movie. You can rip apart that movie, like, on a legitimate level if you wanted to. I'm sure no problem. But calling out on something like that is so minor.
You know, it's like if you're gonna say that Kubrick didn't do The Shining justice, okay, that's fine, but don't piece apart his whole film for the pieces upon it type of thing.
Yeah. Also, they make fun of the kaiju thing, but also the giant robots are called Jaegers. That is also not an English word. That's a German.
There's the thing is they don't call them Jaegers in the trailer.
Oh, okay. They don't?
No, they never once call. They just say, they call them kaiju, and then they go, to fight the monsters, we build monsters.
Right.
And then the only thing, I think Gladys says, activating the Jaeger in 3, 2, 1, which at that point you may argue that's the name of the robot.
Yeah, totally.
Because it sounds like a robot. I thought it was the name of the robot, not the classification of robots. Mm-hmm. Which, I must say, I liked their use of her. Like, it was subtle enough where you're like, hey, that's her, but not a, hey guys, guess who that is?
It's true. Well, that's just Guillermo del Toro doing a good job, because he's Guillermo del Toro.
And he's doing a new Kung Fu Panda, and I'm excited. And apparently Hellboy 3 is in production.
Heck yeah. Well, of course it's in production. He made a lot of money off of Pacific Rim. He can do a Hellboy 3 again.
Hellboy was, I don't read the comics, and those movies were good.
Those movies are good. They capture the idea of the comics pretty well. They only, they added that one character for the first movie they get to give a human element, and I'm kind of sad he wasn't in the second one, but he wasn't a big loss. But I think, they're good movies, and you really gotta watch the audio commentary on them, which I have.
Yeah.
Because just hearing Guillermo del Toro explain things you don't even really look at, like the layers to his, after watching those, I watch all of his movies now, and look for, the layers of visuals he puts into things and the details he throws in the background just for fun. I
can't wait to watch Pacific Rim with the commentary just to see what elements from which show or anime he took for every scene.
Yeah.
Literally when we were watching it, spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen it yet.
This is the spoiler cast, by the way. Just spoilers everywhere.
Well, there's some statute of limitations on some of the spoilers that we put in here.
Yeah.
It's like us talking about the ship sinking in Titanic. Ooh, if you didn't know that, shame on you.
Well, yeah, you learned that in history class, for gosh sakes.
But where was I going with this? In the scene where he holds out his arm and he screams elbow rocket, and then the robo punch happens. Mm-hmm. Clearly, it's supposed to be, the rocket punch from everything, but, Elena just turns to me and goes, ga 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 ga, and I'm like, it's so Broken Magnum!
Yeah.
It's so true!
Yeah, it was.
But good times. Good times. Apparently there's a new Hercules movie coming out.
Yeah, I've been waiting on that for a while. It's not...
Hercules, the legend begins.
It's not it's related to a comic, but not the Marvel comic. It's related to some side comic about, Hercules being a mercenary and stuff. Mm-hmm. Which is, I guess, loosely based on myth, sort of. but it's starring The Rock as Hercules, so I'm down.
And then there's that new Disney movie Frost, which looks interesting.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's this movie that, let's see, it was like about this girl who's in this frozen ice thing, and she apparently can't control it, like a Midas touch thing. And so everybody, the kingdom is stuck in this icy apocalypse in a sense, and everyone's blaming this character.
Fair enough.
Because they're like, well, she has ice powers, she's clearly the one doing this.
Yeah.
And they're doing it with a very Tangle-like animation, and I'm probably going to give it a chance, because Tangle was actually pretty good.
Tangle was great.
I do like that one.
It was good. I enjoyed it a lot. The movie I'm looking forward to from Disney is the one about the making of Mary Poppins.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, with Tom Hanks. That looks
yes, as Walt Disney.
Pretty awesome. I'm looking forward to that.
Yep.
On that note, I think Walt Disney was like officially dead for like 50 years a couple of days ago or something, according to NPR.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And also, just random thing, I know probably a lot of people are not going to be really interested in this, but you've heard of Vera Bradley?
Yes, my girlfriend has way too many Vera Bradley bags. Go on.
Well, my mom went to the Disney event where Vera Bradley was at Disney with special Disney Vera Bradley pocketbooks and stuff like that.
Oh God, go on.
Yes. So she bought a whole bunch of stuff and Vera Bradley was there. And so she wouldn't sign any bags. She would sign like paper or photos, but she just wouldn't sign any merchandise, but you could meet her. Well, my mom goes to the Vera Bradley store in the mall, and she has one of the Disney bags, and they go, oh, you managed to go, oh, you went to that Disney, thing. And she went, yeah, and it's like, oh, was it really cool? It's like, oh, it was really neat. I actually met Vera Bradley there, and they go, that's impossible. And they go, and my mom's like, why is it impossible? And she goes, Vera Bradley's dead. And she goes, well, there was a person there claiming to be Vera Bradley. And they're like, weird. And then she went, well, I have a picture of her. It's like, oh, let's see. And she holds up the picture she had of her and goes, that's her daughter, Branda Bradley. And she's like, what? It's like, yeah, she and her mom co-founded Vera Bradley. Her mother's name was Vera, and she takes her name wherever she goes, so she calls herself Vera Bradley.
I'm totally trying to look this up right now. I'm not having much luck.
So apparently the person who is now Vera Bradley, that's not actually her name, that's Vera Bradley's daughter going under her mother's name.
Yeah, the only thing I got is Wiki Answers is just like, yes, that is a real person, but that doesn't help. Yeah, but I have spent way too much time looking at Vera Bradley stuff and learned way too much about handbags in the past year or two. I don't even want to get into it.
The only thing that I ever do with handbags is I'm willing to hold them when my girlfriend or my mom are doing stuff, because I have no shame.
Yeah, I don't mind. Also, the Vera Bradley bags, just gonna say it, those things are like cavernous. Some of the designs are just like, it's like, oh my God, well, this can hold everything. Everything.
My girlfriend has one. She hasn't seen the use for it yet. She has them a makeup bag. She's like, I already got one. I don't need this. But anyone, that's actually an interesting question that I would like to ask the fearless gamers out there. If any of you who have a significant other, wife, girlfriend, or otherwise,
or are female.
Yes. This is particularly to the guys.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
When going out with said significant other, are you willing to hold a handbag? Are you willing to be seen holding their purse, their pocketbook, while they're out doing something? So, just curious. Random question, I know, but we need some non-gamer related questions on this thing. And for those who did ask us questions, we are not ignoring you. We are keeping them, we're collecting them like squirrels for our anniversary video, which will either be touching base or a podcast. We haven't decided what we can do.
Yeah, we're working
with
on
that yet. I'll have to ask you guys later after the podcast to see what's going on. And on that, we are out of time.
Okay then.
So, that is all for right now. Thank you all for listening. As always, we do appreciate it. If you haven't yet, subscribe to us. That way you can see these as they come out, or hear them, depending. We are working on getting these on iTunes. We haven't forgotten about that. It's just taken us some time to figure out the right place to go and get everything set. So hopefully soon you'll be able to put these on your iPod and listen to them in your car. And if you haven't, like us on Facebook. That way you can get random stuff from us. Random news events, things like that going on. And that is it. So again, thank you all for listening. And until next time, Fearless Gamers, this is Matt the Vet.
And Stark Lord. I think that's my name.
I think so too.
Yep.
We'll wiki it later.
Okay.
Saying, take care.
Bye-bye now.